Way back. Bold and beautiful. With the Hellbreaker sequence. I don't know. I was just trying to think of a word that also started with a B.
Weirdo.
How dare you? We're here once more with another episode. No, we started the episode already. What am I doing? This is the Hellbreaker sequence, part 2, episode 7. And we just found out more about the Heralds and what they're up to. And they got their morale back. Good job, Horror Hell, for being the moral support that they needed. And we're going to find out now what the new Harmony has been up to. What do you want to do, Josh?
What do I want to do? Well, I think the new Harmony wants to reach out to the Hellbreakers. Because they have some information that could make or break the Hellbreakers' attempts at taking down their rivals, their oppressors. Yeah, my brain is... that would explain it. I'm just totally looking in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I mean, the new Harmony wants to help the Hellbreakers against the Perihelions.
Perihelions, thank you. I don't know why that was so hard for me to think.
That's right.
Perihelions, yes.
Cool.
The Hellbreakers. No. So, thing is, New Harmony doesn't want to explicitly reach out to the Hellbreakers and say, hey, we got this shady orc going on, and like, you want, demons and stuff, we can get you that. Right? Because like,
yeah.
I mean,
there are some among the Hellbreakers who are totally about that.
The new Harmony isn't in the business of being the neighborhood demon dealers. Right?
That's entirely fair.
Not yet. Maybe later.
But yes, to keep in mind one fact, that technically if you did want to send Episciatzos, there are people in the Hellbreakers who would listen to you. Like, because they're infiltrated, right? There are people there that do also worship the Eldritch powers.
So Episciatzos even has people on the ground in there already.
Yes. Yeah.
The problem lies in what I'm trying to accomplish, right? Because I want to share with the leadership of the Hellbreakers, essentially offer the leadership of the Hellbreakers some protection, and maybe some support with covert communication and
access to
organizing.
Our spy network.
Maybe access to our spy network kind of deal, where basically the idea being to decentralize the rebellion a bit, so that so really, I mean,
it said like first what you're doing is you're conducting diplomacy.
What they want to do is family move, right?
Because it could give you a meeting with one of your VIPs, access to a tightly guarded... You want a meeting? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the first step.
Probably the first step.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can roll with reach.
Yeah. Bring us to the family page, please.
Sure thing. You don't have any tech, which you could spend to get advantage on this roll. You have 4 data, but that can only be spent on the character level or on uncover secrets in the family level. You do have 3 treaty on the Hellbreakers. So you could use that. You could call in a debt, spend 1 treaty, and gain a +2 on a move that targets them.
Yes, I do like that. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to call in a debt. Get my +2. Because I want to try and get... I want to try and get a meeting with one of the leaders of the New Heart of the...
Yeah, so I'm trying to decide if the Hellbreakers will spend 1 treaty to block you, because that's something they can do. But right? Calling a debt. Player families can resist by spending 1 treaty on you or holding together if they have none. And all the factions in this game are just acting as player families. So they could do that. I'm trying to decide if they would. Obviously, there are people in the faction who are like, yeah, we'll have a meeting with you. But there are others who are violently opposed, including Riva. I don't know if she's violently opposed, but she's definitely opposed.
She's opposed to the Tannerin.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Have we explicitly connected the Tannerin and the New Harmony yet? Or the New Harmony?
I feel like there are suspicions, but
Okay.
yeah, more implicit connections than explicit connections.
Okay. So she wouldn't be immediately like, you Tannerin worshiper?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you spend it and get the +2
Okay.
without blocking. And yeah, because then I have treaty over you that I can spend later to do stuff. Okay, yeah, so get that +2 and go ahead and roll reach.
Okay. There you go.
There you go, 9. Let's see here. Conduct diplomacy. On a 7 to 9, your agents had to get help from a third party. Say which of your allies help them seal the deal and give them 1 treaty. Probably the Last Watch, right?
Yeah, I feel like I keep calling in.
Yeah.
That the Last Watch helped us in again because we seem to be making good use out of whatever connections we have there.
Yeah. Yeah. You just give them another treaty that they can spend on you. Which I'm sure will be fine.
I'm sure. Jared won't use all this treaty I'm giving him for
nefarious purposes.
Well, counter nefarious?
Yeah, fair.
How does one use nefarious purposes on someone with nefarious purposes?
Yeah, I think counter nefarious is a good term. Okay, yeah, so you get your meeting with a VIP set up through whatever agent is that you work with through the Last Watch. Where, I guess we're zooming in. Is what this is now.
All right.
So let's do the zoom in moves. Oh, wait a second. First, we need to zoom out. Because you forget that. When events move from zoomed in scenes to the bigger picture and actions covering weeks and months become important, each player whose main character wasn't involved, so Josh, picks one. So go ahead and pick one of those options and zooming out in the story moves for Episkiatzos. What's he up to?
Okay. Can we go back over the character page, please?
You can.
Thank you. I think we're going to go with they helped out another family or faction.
Okay. And so you want to maybe have been secretly helping the Hellbreakers before this as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically you just gain back the tree that you just spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that maybe Episkiatzos and his network of spies discovered an attempt by the Perihelions to plant someone close to Riva.
Yeah, perfect.
And they intercepted and may have destroyed their mind.
Right? Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's good. So let's zoom in now. When you focus on critical scenes where a handful of people might change the course of history over hours or days, say where you are on the map. Where's this meeting taking place, my friend?
Well, I think I think they're going to meet in Caliph itself.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. The main characters present say what they're there to do. So this is the question: is this Epischiazzo's doing this, or are we making someone else?
I think it's going to be Epischiazzo's.
Okay.
I think he's a lot more thoroughly cowled than normal.
Yeah.
Can't actually see that he has no face.
Yeah.
And he keeps the eldritch appearance somewhat as much toned back as he can.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like it would be easier to do that in this sort of situation in society because it's like a desert culture and there's lots of like, it's really hot out and all that stuff. So you probably have lots of like thick or not like loose, baggy kind of layers. You could have like a cowl, a turban, or whatever, you know, any of those sorts of things. Lots of
he maybe
dust
has
storms.
on 3 layers where other people would have on 1, but it's not completely unusual for someone wanting to hide their identity to swaddle up in such a way.
Indeed. All right. Yeah. What are you there to do?
Epischiazzo's is there to offer. What did I decide I wanted? Yeah, Epischiazzo's is there to offer aid to the rebellion in exchange for rare materials, particularly of the perihelion variety as they're seized. He has some specifics. Actually, yeah, no. How did I decide that I wanted to do this with the Hellbreakers? Because it was a bit different from the perihelions. No, he has some requests for some precision machine components and stuff that need to. So basically, raw rare materials that need to be manufactured for him. So his request is, I'll offer you aid and support in the rebellion in exchange for you manufacturing these rare materials for me.
Yeah, let me look at the Hellbreakers real quick.
So they've got some capability for that.
They
right?
have the surpluses they have right now are recruit, safety, and defenses, and they need justice. But I imagine so it's not like if they had like a resource that was like directly related to that, they could just give you the surplus, right? But as it stands, if that's what you wanted from them, then I just have to make some sort of roll for them. They'd have to do something to get you that stuff.
Okay.
But yes, they could do that. There would just have to be a roll involved probably for them. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Cool stuff. All right. The GM describes details of the environment or asks the players questions about it. I don't know, Josh, where do you think, like, would you like through your spy network find out where one of their secret headquarters would be and they just show up there? Or is this like a more clandestine meeting? Like you sent them a secret message and they're meeting you at an undisclosed location?
I think maybe the New Harmony got word of a meeting occurring.
Okay.
Some kind of petty deal, but one of the players requested Riva's presence explicitly.
Okay.
And so Epischiazzo's has arrived first, uninvited.
Okay, to like basically kind of, so it wouldn't be something where they could like mistake you for the person they're supposed to meet initially, or would it be obvious?
I think it's probably some petty arms dealer or something. So it
would be obvious that you're not.
It would be fairly obvious that Epischiazzo's is not the person you're looking for.
Sounds good. Yeah. Okay, cool. Other players may create or pick up quick characters to fill up the party. Carly, do you want to just play Nausea? again in this scene.
Yeah.
It seems like the person that sticks around with
Yeah.
Episkiatzos, watches it back. Makes sense. Yeah, I like Nausea as like the silent, like person who just kind of keeps an eye on Episkiatzos for him. Can help in a pinch. Cool. So basically, is Nausea just doing her thing, hiding in the shadows? Nobody sees her, sort of a thing. Okay. Sounds good. And lastly, tool up. Let's tool up, shall we? Do you want all your normal stuff?
Yep.
And Nausea, I assume you have your normal stuff too? Yep. All right, so just a reminder, you still have the start of that Ritual of Great Power. You have a spell to invoke hostile grounds, Words of Madness and Power, sustained by the Void, and a Void Walker as well.
I think he's going to have the Void Walker nearby.
But probably not in this scene.
But summonable if needed.
Yeah.
Can I say invisible but summonable if needed?
No, because the mount itself doesn't like have that as a tag. But wait a second, we can look
add a
at
tag.
Yeah, that's one of the options here. So absolutely, let's look at what you have. Okay, so you have leadership and spies for surpluses. So both of you can go ahead and choose in story moves there and tool up 2 of those options. So one can be add a tag to a piece of gear for this mission. If you wanted to just spend both of those on your mount, you could do hidden or wait a second, let me look at the actual tags you can have before we start getting crazy. What tags can you have in a vehicle? Actually, wait a second. I need to look at the book. I have a handout. All right, right now yours has mount and air and space as tags. You could also have mighty, swift, canopy, durable, medbay, transport, or turret.
Literally none of those are useful.
Swift might be the only one that makes sense, right? You could add that to basically it's get advantage when you diffuse by maneuvering out of danger. So you could say that, the Voidwalker bursts in and like...
Run, Shadowfax.
Exactly, yeah. Show us the meaning of haste.
Thank you.
Yeah, you could add that if you wanted to.
Why not?
Yeah. So you can add Swift to those tags.
Nausea would probably do the same thing.
Okay.
I don't know what else to do for this.
And then you have one more thing you can do.
Might as well generate a scout's report.
For 1 data?
Or with 1 data.
You want to do the same thing, Carls?
Yeah.
Gotta pile all that data up. Just use it every single time to get advantage. Right now, that means that the new Harmony has 6 data.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got plenty of data to go around. Okay, cool. So we see this shadowy warehouse where Riva was meant to meet some sort of, local arms dealer in the city of Kelith. Try to, as her continual quest to gather resources and allies for her final push to strike the perihelions once and for all. And, so we see Riva. Riva is, again, an average height, 20-something woman, early 20s, dark, long hair, and she is currently wearing her, mech suit. Basically, it's like an exosuit that it's like an industrial exosuit that's been modified to basically look like, it's kind of like a cross between Iron Man's suit and Hawk Girl. So it has these Valkyrie wings that can come out of the back. Maybe she doesn't have them up right now, but she walks into this kind of orange industrial, kind of red fire orange sort of industrial exosuit. And it's obviously...
So it's kind of like Falcon's wings?
Yeah, it's basically like an Iron Man suit with Falcon wings attached to the back of it, yeah. But yeah, it obviously looks very impressive. She's wearing, so she doesn't have the wings up right now because she's wearing the cloak of Jadin, obviously, strewn across, attached to her back, flowing regally. And she has a kind of squat sword. Kind of looks like a gladius, but it looks like it's made out of like car parts. Slung on like a sheath, kind of like a loose sheath, really, at her belt. And she walks in, and it's her and like a couple of other revolutionary-looking people with heavy, menacing tools of one sort or another. We have a guy with a power hammer. We have actually, you know what? Riva's a main character who's in this scene, so she gets stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think basically what she's gonna do, she has a bunch of surpluses. They have. I know one of the options that she's going to choose is get as many copies of a weapon, outfit, or vehicles as needed to outfit the whole party. So only issue is, and then I'm gonna choose add 1 to a quality of set of followers for this mission, and basically for this purpose, it's like she has a set of followers. She has some people that come with her.
That's an option?
It's not, but it wouldn't make sense for Riva to come here by herself. So she basically, it's like these people exist, but they're not really worth much. They're just kind of there.
Okay.
And I mean, basically that's what I'll do. I'll basically just have her use two surpluses to just say like, she has a couple people with her. Maybe we can say that's something you can do. If you want to spend your tool up for 2 resources, you can create a set of followers. Because I know that's one of the things that a lot of the playbooks, it's like, why would I have followers? But then every once in a while, you're like, I really should have followers in this scene. So I'm done with house ruling that for this purpose.
Okay.
So that's what she has. She walks in. What does the scene exactly look like? Are you just standing there, like in the open? Or do you come out from the shadows as they're like standing there, like looking around, waiting?
I think the meeting was arranged such that this merchant was supposed to meet Riva at a specific place at a specific time, with the idea that the Hellbreakers would arrive a little early and secure the area first.
Yeah. So is it basically like they start securing the area and then they find
they get to the conference room, and Episkiadzos is just sitting in a chair. Not at the head. He's sitting at the chair at the side of the table, just kind of waiting.
I mean, if they're meeting with like an arms dealer in a city that's technically run by the Perihelions, would they? I feel like it would be some sort of like abandoned warehouse or like more seedy place.
Like, but there's a table.
Okay, sure, yeah, there can be a
sit
table.
At then. And clearly, the place of honor is vacant.
Got it.
And waiting for someone.
Interesting.
A table or an officer. Like, there's some sense of. I think it's maybe like the conference room of a. Here we go with this. It's a big machine hall for making parts for large construction equipment.
Yeah.
They were to meet in the conference room of the attached office section.
Right, of course. Yeah, duh. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
so we just
they see small
through like
CEO's office conference room kind of thing with
there's
a desk and a big chair
this
and then
big
like
window,
a couple of tables and
right? Like it's like a a separate room and has walls and stuff, but there's like a big window that like looks in on it, and we just see like it's kind of shadowy in there, and we just see Episkiadzos sitting at one of the chairs, and the
window looks out over the machine floor itself.
Yeah,
there's maybe a big automated plasma cutter going to work on a chunk of metal or something. This is occasional flashes of light from like the 3 people working on the floor of this large facility.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and so they start to kind of like secure, the area, and then one of them says, There's someone up here, Riva. And Riva just kind of like frowns and, what do you mean someone? Is it our guy? And then the guy just like shakes his head. I'm not sure who he is. And we see Riva like mount the stairs up to this like second floor that kind of like looking over the hall and has a little conference room. And she goes to the door, and just pretty confidently just opens it, and walks in. Takes a couple of steps in, and the cloak like billows around her. And she says, "Who are you?"
Ah, Riva of the Hellbreakers, I assume. My apologies, I'm early, am I not?
You're not invited.
Ah, but, bearer of the cloak, you are an easy woman to find.
Well, apparently I haven't been doing my job well enough.
Ah,
And then she looks at her like people and she says, or they're not doing their job well enough.
ah. So, in some sense, you could say, I am invited.
He just frowns at you. Is there a purpose to this?
I think you've already stumbled upon it, eh? Someone's not doing their job well enough. And here I am.
Are you offering your services?
In a roundabout sort of way, yes. Yes, I am.
I'm sorry, who are you? He puts a hand on her, like, sword hilt.
You can call me Zos. I represent a set of quiet interests among your people and many others. We have ears in places, eyes in places, arms in places, and we've a mutual enemy. A mutual enemy with a thumb on our backs and a penchant for snuffing out sparks as they arise.
She just is waiting for you to, like, continue.
To the Parahelians, you're a spark of hope. Spark of hope among their oppressed people. So as you rise up and the Jadonites follow your example, they'll think, hey, here's the head of a great movement. Let's cut it off.
I can handle myself, Zos.
Clearly. Gestures to the empty conference room. Maybe there's a boot sticking out from under the table of a dead arms dealer.
Oh no. She frowns and she says, I hope you have weapons to sell me.
I have protection to sell you. Information to sell you. I hope you are aware of the comparative usefulness of these things over some petty firearms.
Let me look real quick. I'm curious if she has like any special moves that make sense in this situation. Yeah, I think she kind of crosses her arms and she says, I'm not sure I can trust someone who doesn't even show me their face.
Don't have any good news with this specifically.
What are you trying to do?
Just trying to decide if there are options. Basically, what options I have where I can answer that. Don't be too hasty now. Not asking for your implicit trust. You're welcome with open arms into your circle of friendship.
Good, because I'd laugh at you if that was the suggestion.
To admit that it would seem okay. So I want to make a move, but I'm not sure what mechanically it is. I want to essentially that the dead arms dealer. I want to show that they were an agent of the Parahelians. Because they are the agent that I took out earlier.
Perfect. Okay.
They were supposed to be the planned. And I want to unveil that. That's like my
perfect. Yeah, that's good.
point of data or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's look.
Like, is that the truth about the situation I can uncover, or not uncover, but explain?
Let's see. I mean, this could be as easy as you roll find common ground, and then you can spend a point of data. The data being, hey, this is the guy, and then you get advantage on find common ground.
I think this is the information is power.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, you revealing the guy would be information is power, and then you could spend a point of data and get advantage on the roll. The roll being probably find common ground to talk her into siding with you, right? Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Sure.
Yeah, that's really clever.
Take a look at his boots.
He
doesn't bite. He can't bite anyone anymore.
Yeah, she just kind of frowns and glances slightly down. What about them? They're not my size, if that's what you're saying.
How worn do they look? How clean? Yet he's supposed to have been an arms dealer in business for 30 years.
Okay, I see your point. Or at least I see that you're trying to make a point.
Search him. You'll find on his person, among other things, a communicator with a line to the Parahelians themselves.
Take a step away from the table. Yeah, and then she
Pulls
just
back the chair,
motions to
steps
her
away.
her people, and then they go and drag the guy out under the table and then search him. And then one of them, the guy that we were seeing earlier, he's kind of like a dark-haired, kind of thick beard, kind of a bewildered face. Looks over, he's holding, probably like a chainsaw sword or something, or at least has one strapped across his back. He grabs this communicator and he looks back and says, well, he wasn't lying about that.
If the light tattoos don't give him away, he's also a member of the Parahelians race.
Right.
Though smudged and attempted to, it was a makeup job, attempted to cover it up.
Yeah.
Though on examination of a dead body, it's pretty obvious that.
Yeah. And she just kind of sighs and she says, all right, so I guess I have to thank you for defeating an agent of my enemy. What do you want exactly?
My people, we need equipment, materials specifically, manufactured to precise tolerances far beyond our own capabilities. But you possess equipment and skills, and he gestures toward her exosuit. Equipment and skills of manufacturing far beyond ours.
Real quick, as something I just remembered, Riva actually has a move called the Secret Army. When you spend a few days training rebels in an area you don't have any followers, gain followers of quality 1 with 1 specialty: spying, rioting, sabotage, or carrying messages. So that's basically what she did. Is with these guys. She didn't, I didn't make up a rule. We just say that she used that move beforehand because she had some days to do this.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
I think their specialty is spying.
Spying or defense?
Well, the options are spying, rioting, sabotage, or carrying messages.
Okay.
Because she's a firebrand, so she's like revolutionary stuff.
Okay.
And it would probably just be spying would be the most useful one out of these. So
Fair enough.
So yeah, they're not exactly soldiers. They're just spies.
Okay. I
but,
would
yeah.
offer you our expertise discovering moles, sending messages and communicating, organizing hidden movements, moving, working toward a rebellion of a greater proportion and more thorough communication than has been attempted before, as well as defense of your person against the Parahelians, who will be looking to snuff out the threat with as much extreme prejudice as they can. They're not interested in making martyrs, they're interested in shock and awe. And I would hate to see you dead at the bottom of a crater 30 feet deep. Because you know that's what they'll do.
Who do you serve, Zos?
My people are artists, creators. We serve our deeper passions for creation and discovery.
That's it. You're artists who are really, really good at spying.
Our art isn't appreciated.
Most art isn't these days.
We are often feared and reviled. To continue to practice it out, to continue to meet together, we must be covert, organized, and secret. Our organization formed as a necessity. And we're damn good at what we do. Sorry, darn good at what we do.
Trying to think of how she would respond to that. I think it's probably the point to just make the roll.
Yeah.
And then there'll probably be a little bit of more of like, epilogue to the conversation after that.
Sure.
But that will kind of be the tipping point either way.
Okay.
Episiazos is creepy, man.
Mm-hmm.
He is, isn't he? So, my information is power. I get advantage on a roll.
Yeah.
I also have advantage on sway automatically. Meaning I get double advantage.
I'm not sure
Correct.
that has any meaning in this game.
Roll 4, drop below 2.
No, I don't think that is a thing in this game. I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's just like, I don't think you get double advantage. Let's take a look. But if you already got advantage on sway, then I'm fine with giving you your data point back.
Fair enough.
Let's find this real quick. Advantage. What? It's the new song. Oh, I don't know where this is. Let's see. Here we go. Page 12. Good old indexes. Yeah, it says when you roll with advantage, roll 3 dice and pick the highest 2. When you roll with disadvantage, roll 3 dice and pick the lowest 2. If you have advantage and disadvantage, roll normally. Sources of advantage will specify which actions they apply to and if they ever run out. Fleeting advantage is a special case that simply boosts your next roll, whatever move it's for, and then goes away. That's all it says about advantage. So my guess would be you can only do one thing of advantage. Seems to be what it's saying.
Okay. So that was a improperly used character move then.
That's right. It was still cool.
Yeah.
How do you have advantage on sway? What gives you that? I'm curious. I don't remember.
That is a new harmony action.
Okay.
Can you jump back over there for a second?
Mm-hmm.
So with the new harmony, my ability there is Enlightened Madness. No, wait, sorry, that's not it. That's which piece is it? I think it is the
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. Sheet. I know you have advantage with slight.
right. So
I
the
feel
advantage with slight is the new harmony. I feel like there was something with the creation of maybe it was the creation of the warlock itself. Might be in the playbook there. Give me a second to pull up the playbook because I've started, which indicates to me advantage.
Right.
So that's why I'm. Excuse the loud keyboard delay. Why?
I'm not seeing anything on the sheet here.
Why did I start that then?
I don't know.
Because his.
Yeah, I don't see anything. It might have been something where you got advantage for it, and then it went away at some point.
Maybe, but.
Well, for right now, let's just say you spent the point of data, and then you can get advantage. We can look that up later and see if we can figure it out.
Okay.
But yes, you can have advantage on this sway roll.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
You're good.
I have no memory of why that star is there then at this point,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating me
Mm-hmm.
beyond belief. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, that's so bad.
Oh,
a
no.
Jump back over
3.
to the new harmony page, please.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can add something to Lane Madness, can't you?
Maybe. Yeah,
Yep.
I can actually.
Yeah, because it's 1 that got dropped. So what does that mean? Oh, you can spend an infused die to set one of the dice to 6 without rolling. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So I'm gonna put that.
Next to pride
are-
or wealth?
These aren't all stats, are they?
No, they're just kind of like flavor, honestly. Is what I'm seeing.
Okay. I'm gonna put my 1 next to echoes.
Okay, if you do that, then
I can then later roll a 2, place it on there, and get
right.
my
But
advantage on Mirage.
so do you not want to have those infused up there? Because you could make either of those top 2 rolls infused already.
I'm 1 away from infusing either of them. If I add another die, then I'm 1 away from infusing any of the 3.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
My question, yeah.
The main reason I'm
Mirage
asking
has landed closer to being useful to me than lore or faith, is my main thought there.
Got it. Yeah, I'm not even entirely sure that like those words have any like actual meaning in the game.
I think the theory there is just if it would make sense for you to have extraordinary faith or extraordinary lore in this situation, more than it does that I'm actually rolling on the stat lore.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So
that's fine with me. The only thing I was thinking was like you might want infused die for whatever is going to happen next.
That's possible.
Yeah, it's up to you.
I don't know.
Because I could see this as pride.
Well, so pride ain't going off because pride doesn't have a 3. So,
well, it has it's the row right there, right? So it's 3, 2, 1.
The stars align. You're considered infused with the quality next to the 3.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
So
interesting.
When you invoke this power before your family or character takes action, spend an infused die.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I saw that part. I just didn't realize that the quality next to the 3 was. I forget. Did not see that sentence. That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then it would either be faith or lore, which doesn't really make sense in this situation.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well. You know what? Let's go ahead and infuse a faith die. Go ahead and add that 1 to the top line.
Okay.
We'll infuse a faith die. Why not?
So now you are considered infused with the quality of faith, and this is basically like the faction itself, really. But yeah, now we got the triple 6, which is ominous.
So go ahead and can you jump me back to the Warlock page, please?
Mm-hmm.
Start thinking ahead a little bit. While we hear Riva's reaction to this rather clumsy attempt at a very obvious cultist trying to offer aid of the occult flavor.
Literally, that's what's happening. Cool. Yeah. I love that the backstory for a lot of these people have just come true as we played. Like this one was, yours with Riva was, does Riva know of the monsters among them? And that totally makes sense with the perihelion thing that you just did, which is great. Yeah, so you say this, and basically it comes to the point where, like, Riva's just staring at you, right, as you're saying all of this stuff. And then her eyes just kind of like widen ever so slightly, and then she says, "Oh." And then she just basically, her wings go up, the cloak flies off, sword in hand, and it's just like battle time because she realizes what's happening and who you are, and like she's like, okay, these people, and it's just basically like she just charges you like straight out, like charges you to kill you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, how are you responding to that? Basically, you have to diffuse this situation somehow.
Sure. I think Episkiadzos is going to he's going to undo the knots or clasps holding the turban and such on his face, and he's just going to throw it off in a big flare of darkness.
Sure.
In an attempt at, he's going to
like
kind of throw it off
basically,
and then move out of the way. Less of intimidation and more of like a misdirection.
Okay.
So trying to like, I'm here. Move. I'm trying to figure out a good way to describe this where I can use, because I want to use sway instead of.
I mean, it's misdirection, yeah. So
steal, yeah. Like a flare of the cloak to get in her face and kind of, not intimidate, just like
fainting, making her think you're
faint of sorts.
Yeah, making her think that you're somewhere you're not, because the cloak is like right in her face and you're just dodging to the side, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can roll sway with that. There you go.
Well, I also dropped a 2 due to advantage, so we're going to add that to the bottom row.
Why do you have advantage?
Nope, that's not.
Right.
Why do I do this?
That's right. You can spend a data point. I mean, you have plenty.
Please remove the star.
Yeah. Yes, plenty of data points, so you could just spend one.
Yeah.
And it could literally just be the whole thing of like, you had this disguise and you set it up particularly so you could take it off like this and like provide like a distraction.
Sure.
It comes because all the clasps and stuff, right? Yeah.
Good enough.
Cool. Yeah. So you just like throw it in her face, and she just like cuts it in half basically, and then hits the wall. Her her wings come out. There's jets like below them that like help her stabilize, and she basically just like like hits the ground again and like faces you. Nasia, where are you? Like, were you just in the shadows of this room the entire time?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What do you do? Because you were like waiting for something like this to happen.
Right.
There's also like, a set of followers nearby that have like weapons and that aren't quite as like up on the uptake as Riva is, but we'll definitely try to attack Episkiadzos soon.
Yeah, I think Nasia just kind of tries to casually attack the other people, like
now would be a good time to flay their minds.
I mean, yeah, your main weapon is words of madness and power.
Right. Yeah.
So it's literally just you're in the shadows and you're just like
she's literally just standing in the shadows whispering.
Yeah, what we probably see, right, is Nasia like is jumping from shadow to shadow, and she goes to a shadow that's like she jumps into someone's shadow, and then is right behind them and is like whispering into their ear these words of madness and power and like breaking their mind.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that is. I mean, you're basically like attacking them. So, and you're basically just gonna like try to take down her followers.
Yeah.
Okay. That is fiercely assault. Roll plus force.
So I would recommend taking your whispers from a ranged shadow rather than right behind them, because whispers is ranged.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's playing into the tags and thinking about a
Yeah, that makes sense.
chainsaw sword.
Because you're
One of the
basically what
followers
he's
is a
saying is
chainsaw sword. And I would recommend not being in melee range.
Oh.
yeah, that makes and then because it's ranged anyway. The
Yeah.
words Madison Power, so that makes sense. We gotta edit your stats again because the stats that you have there are like all the like -1s that you took and stuff.
Yeah.
What did you put the first one at? The hurt?
I don't know.
Because we can put every one of these up by 1, and then one of them needs to go by 1 more. Which one did you like choose as your best one?
I don't remember.
One of the ones that contributed to sneak or stealth or something.
It should be force or sway, I think.
Probably force.
Because then you'll have your... Yeah, that works for me. Okay. So go ahead and roll your force. Oh no! Got a 6. So you're basically like from the shadows trying to like whisper horrible words of madness to these people. And you fail miserably. So... yeah, I'm trying to think of exactly the issue here. Because if you had been like jumping from shadow to shadow, obviously it's just like one of them turns on you. Because something bad happens here, I have to make a GM move, and normally it would just be like, they hurt you. So you definitely failed to like actually hurt them. But I think
hear where the sound is coming from at the very least.
Yeah, I think basically that's what it is.
She
Is like they know where you are now, right? Like you can't for whatever reason the shadows aren't hiding you as well as you want them to. And they pinpoint your location, and one of them is just like he grabs the chainsaw sword off of his back and and then just charges you basically. Meanwhile, what is Episkiazza's gonna do?
Remind me of the rule for hazard for hostile grounds again.
Hostile grounds basically means that a bunch of people, like, you get advantage or disadvantage when you're in the hostile grounds. So let me double check specifically what that means with all the like other details it gives. Boop boom. 56. The page I'm looking for. When in a hostile environment, you roll with disadvantage. To overcome this disadvantage, find specific gear or use strange devices. If you're adapted to your environment and acting against someone who would roll with disadvantage, roll with advantage.
Oh.
So I think the idea is to, you're invoking hostile grounds that are hostile to everyone else, but not to you. That probably makes sense.
Fair enough.
You're just trying to make it like weird and spooky in here.
You're sustained by the void, correct?
Yep. Yeah, you are. I'm looking at you right now.
All right.
Yeah. So you could literally just like open a vacuum to space.
Let me.
Sorry.
Play my thing.
I'm sorry.
Episkiadzos takes out of his cloak a contorted length of chain. Kind of. Each link is like a Penrose triangle, and the whole thing is wound in a manner that doesn't quite look like it should actually work. Like it should be stacked a lot higher than it is. It's all piled. It's real flat, even though it looks like it should be a big, tall, three-dimensional object.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes it and he slaps it down on the table, and as he does, it spreads out, and the whole surface inside what has now suddenly become a circle of chain is just pitch black, and all the air in the room rushes into the hole.
Perfect.
And because the door on the outside of the room swings outward, it slams in, shutting the room, sealing it off, and now the space is a vacuum.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. So you do that.
I think as he does the cloak,
except I feel like you have to
at her
roll
face,
to do it, right?
got sucked into the.
I feel like there's a roll because it says like a spell to invoke hostile grounds, but like that doesn't, because you know the start of a rite of power doesn't necessarily mean you just do it.
Unleash power then.
Yeah, that's my guess, right?
Roll
Yeah,
plus lore to use
that's
the
what I'm
device.
thinking. Yeah,
Okay.
and you have a good lore, so this should go well.
Should.
Remember, you have what, 5 data points still?
Mm-hmm.
4 data points? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use another point of data. My family has researched this particular creation.
Oh yeah, I
Made
mean
it
obviously
ourselves
because
out
you
of our
have
own artifice.
So yeah, sustained by the void, man. This makes perfect sense.
So we're gonna go.
Yeah, so advantage and a +3.
I hope if I rolled 3d6 instead of 3dg.
There you go, 13.
Dropped a 3, but
Dropped
it
a 3.
matter.
Don't. Yeah, I don't need it. Yeah. So you definitely do it exactly as you just said, and I mean, yeah,
So-
basically, Riva and the rest of the people are just struggling to do what they're still trying to do.
The device, I get to pick my 3
Oh, right. Okay.
from that list, right?
Yeah.
The device does exactly what I want.
Yep.
I avoid the device's side effects,
Mhm.
and I don't rouse other devices in the environment.
Okay, so the device can't be used again.
Cannot be used again.
So basically, you've used up your spell to invoke hostile grounds.
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Good stuff. I mean, basically, what that just means, right, is like for the
because like
scene.
I don't want other devices going off, and
yeah,
like I don't want to, because that feels like a failure even in the success.
I think basically what this means is not that you can never use this spell again; is that for the rest of this session, probably you can't.
Okay.
Right? Like
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Then,
right. It's like you've used it up until you get another one.
Because I'm just trying to mitigate as many side effects as I can, and it always seems like it's going to give me a side effect no matter what I do.
Because that's why they give us tool up every single time you zoom in, because it's assumed that even if you lost gear, you can get it back right at the beginning of every zoom in. So
okay, that makes sense. Cool. Sure.
Yeah. So you do that, but the spell disappears from your mind. You don't know it anymore until you relearn it, and I think Riva is gonna, still try to attack you, but now with disadvantage. And basically what is gonna happen here is, like, I guess an assault. Are you, okay, I guess my question is, are you gonna fight her, or are you gonna try to escape? Like,
I want to make an attack at this point.
Yeah, so I would say, like, you roll fiercely assault with advantage now. Because she's attacking you too, but, it's just a battle at this point, and you're the player character right now, really. Like, I could make a roll as Riva, but makes more sense to have you do it.
Okay. So it's a roll plus force.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use a point of data.
Okay.
As well here.
Mm-hmm.
I know
down to 2 now.
What it is. I know generally what it is that Riva fears.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our spies have heard her mumblings on about her fears in her sleep, or some equivalent.
It's maybe mostly about, like, not being worthy, being totally a fake, those sorts of things, right?
And I'm going to invoke my infusion of faith.
Yeah.
I believe that the dark influences of the Tannerin can creep in to any small crack given the opportunity. And he believes that so fiercely that he gets an automatic 6.
Yeah, I mean, probably the place to roll, the way to roll this would just be 2d6 K2 plus
K1.
6. Or sorry, K1 plus 6.
Yep. Because my force is 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow. All right. Still only a 9. Let's see here. So on a 7 and 9, you choose 1, and the GM chooses 2. So on Fiercely Assault, you can choose one of those on that character list.
He inflicts savage, terrifying harm, frightening and dismaying his foe.
Okay. Let's see. If I was to choose something or someone important is harmed, what would that mean to you? Like, what would make sense? Is there anything besides you that's important to you in this scene? Like, Nazi has a colleague, but...
As a player, don't take this the wrong way, I'm moderately tempted to use Nausea as a damage battery. Nausea is important to him. We'll just let you take some harm.
Nazia's used herself as a damage battery, so...
Yeah.
I mean, HP is a resource.
Mm-hmm.
Team shared HP is a resource.
Yeah, so basically that would be Nausea to you, though, if I chose that?
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense in terms of I don't really have a whole lot of other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Nausea gets harmed. I'm going to say...
Are there more dudes on the machine floor that could come after us?
So this is basically you and Riva fighting. Nausea and the other people are also fighting, but basically during this combat, like, Nausea gets hurt because of your terrible fight that's happening right here. I think also it's just going to be you take harm as appropriate. There's just a lot of harm going around in this fight. Lots of savagery. I mean,
sure.
So what are you primarily using to fight here? Like, how are you using your words of madness and power? What does that look like? Or just I think you maybe already said it. Was it like preying on her fears, like giving her illusions and stuff?
I think it's attacking her fears, and they're all coming to the fore in a much, much stronger way than she's ever really experienced them before.
Yeah.
All her sense of inadequacy, her feeling of she doesn't have enough training. I don't know what the sense of I'm an imposter in this position of power. Someone gave me a cloak and now they expect me to lead. And now I'm having to deal with a cultist in the dark room. No one prepared me for this. No one trained me for this. All that, the thoughts that would normally be suppressed by adrenaline.
Yeah.
Are pounding through her skull as if powered by the adrenaline itself. And it's more than she's able to handle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. I'm gonna double check like how much damage you would actually do here. You said savage and terrifying harm.
Right.
So we'll see what. Let's see. So it's obviously magic. Yeah, let's say you do 4 harm boxes of damage. You do 4 harm.
Nice.
Which means for her, she's 1 away from being dead. She is winded, fearful, feverish, and bleeding.
She's probably bleeding out her ears.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, exactly.
Not just from the room pressure change.
Yeah.
Well, probably also from that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so she also, though, in turn, is just like savagely attacking you with her sword, right? Like she rockets with her wings, because it's like the wings are there to guide her flight, but she also has like propulsion engines basically in the back, and she
Honestly,
slams into you.
If she doesn't collapse the wings, the air movement will probably suck her into the hole.
She probably did then, but yeah.
But
then she puts it
boosters
back up.
work regardless.
But yeah, so she slams into you, slams you against the wall, and then like, stabs you, gets one clean stab in, and then like it's like a tussle and illusions, sort of a thing. Nausea in the fighting gets maybe like as she's just like swinging around wildly, like boosting around the room, just like going a little crazy at this point. Nausea is like trying to fight the other people, and then she just gets like slashed with the sword as it's just being swung around wildly. And so I think you guys each take 3 harm.
How does disadvantage factor into this?
I don't think it does. It just was already factored into the fact that you got advantage on the fiercely assault. Yeah, I think that's the only.
It didn't give me advantage on the fiercely assault though.
It should have
advantage on the fiercely assault because I used a point of data.
So I'm gonna give you that data back because you didn't need it. Because you should have had advantage on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
so I get advantage against people
with disadvantage. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Excellent. I will be grateful that I keep spending data I don't need to spend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that happens, and so each of you take 3 harm.
Okay.
So yeah, you're definitely like bleeding from like a gut wound, but you're a warlock. You've handled worse before. You're beset, twisted, and haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And then nausea. You are drained, winded, and hurt.
Mine said a lot less serious.
Yep. Warlocks get damaged very easily. Any harm whatsoever gives them minuses. So.
Mm-hmm.
What stat do you get a -1 to? Carly.
Oh.
You get to choose.
Oh, right. Probably lore.
Yeah. That metagame though.
Yeah, but also like I don't really use that.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. That's the exact point.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Nausea, you still have to kind of deal with the lackeys. Riva's still alive after this fight, but then basically during this, you were also fiercely assaulting her followers. We're not terribly good at fighting, but could still cause harm to you either way. You get advantage on this roll, but you're gonna roll force. So 3d6 K2, just straight. Oh my gosh. You got a 3.
Can you jump me to the
K2 needs to go directly after the 3d6 for future reference.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jump you to the what? Family?
The family page, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's rolling with advantage, so she rolled a 4.
Yeah.
Not a 3.
Yes, you're right, yeah. Cool. Well,
do quick characters count for Enlightened Madness or only main characters?
Let's take a look, shall we?
This is your family or character.
Family or character discards. Before your family or character takes action. I think it can count. Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Okay, so I'm going to pop that. Let's see. I dropped a 2 on the bottom row there.
Okay.
That we forgot to mark. And then the 1, I'm going to go ahead and
Make a
put
6.
on the middle row, making
Oh.
the lore into a 6.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. You have more enlightened madness.
So
All the 6s.
all infused dice to 6. Okay. And
So you
I
can-
should
yeah, you can-
have. So I should have.
So
I burned
technically,
one of my infused dice on Faith. I didn't burn a second one, correct?
if you were spending on this, you would be. But also, the wording is when you invoke this power before your family or character takes action. So technically, it cannot be done after the fact.
Right. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I was suggesting is that we're missing one of the 6s in the top row.
I know what I was saying is I thought you were gonna try to give Nasia enlightened madness die, but I guess that's not
No.
what you're saying. Okay.
No,
Got it.
sorry.
Just making sure. Okay, cool. So, Nasia, you failed.
Yep.
Which, honestly, I feel just means that you die. Because, yeah. Because you have 2 harm boxes left, and like the whole idea of this is you're fighting these guys, and this guy was rushing you with a chainsaw sword. So I think basically you just get chainsawed in half. Yep. Poor Nasia. So luckily, Nasia, you have 2 death moves.
Right.
So first, when you die, terrible energies plague the area. Those that brave the maelstrom can find a device on your body. And then also, when you die, reveal your mission's final step. If the party does it, the mission succeeds. So literally, you can say, as an agent here, as a spy, right? You could say, what's his face? Episiadzos, if you do blank, you can still convince Riva to be on your side.
Wow.
Yep. Obviously, he'd probably have to roll for it, but like that's the step, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, probably if you can help her figure out how to work the cloak.
Oh, yes.
That's
So
like the
true.
one thing she was trying to get help
Oh
from.
my
with the Herald.
gosh. Yes, it's perfect because she's going to think she's contuned with God and she's not.
Yeah.
She's going to be in tune with demons.
Okay.
So basically, right now, Riva is like plagued with these horrible like nightmares and like, oh, what is happening to my brain? But if Episkiazo stepped in and played Wormtongue for a second in the middle of her horror and then said, I can help you become more than you are. Your failures, I can make you stronger, right? Like, but also terrible energies plague the area. So,
yeah,
sure.
As this guy cuts her in half with the chainsaw sword, just pure blackness, just like envelops the whole room. And I think, Episkiazzo's rolled diffuse because there's like blasts of magical energy that are trying to hurt you here.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that for Riva too.
Can he make his Can his diffuse be an improvised ritual to protect him and Riva from the damage?
Yeah, sure.
Because that would be a improvised technology is close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Plus lore, and then I'm gonna go ahead and spend another enlightened madness.
Got it.
On that.
This should just be a straight roll, with the 6 because this is against Nausea. Nausea is not at disadvantage, so with the hostile grounds.
So it should be a 2d6 K1 plus
I think
6
you're
plus 2.
you're rolling basically 1d6 plus whatever.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
1d6, not 2d6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1d6 plus 9, I guess.
It would be plus 8 because I have a
+8.
-1 to my
Got
lore.
it. Yeah. There you go. Perfect. All right. So you successfully. You're basically just using like a bubble of, magical energy to just protect you two. Okay.
Something like that. I think he holds up his hand, and the flood of darkness crystallizes into mind-bending shapes. And I think he kind of hums a note as he does it, and the whole thing, rather than crystallizing, the whole thing begins to vibrate and take on the shapes. Kind of, have you ever seen those where they take a piece of sheet metal and they sprinkle sand on it, and then they run a violin bow across it, and it kind of makes patterns depending on the pitch? It's kind of the same kind of idea where it kind of spreads out in waves around them.
Cool.
And nothing can touch them.
Yeah, it definitely touches her followers, though. They all get just like eviscerated and evaporated by this, disintegrated rather is the word, I guess, by this horrible blast of nightmare energy. And we see from the outside of this conference room, where before it was like this enclosed, right, like space that this battle is happening in, and suddenly, it kind of, I think this kind of dispels your spell of invoke hostile grounds, but like it's its own hostile grounds now because of the energies. Okay. And it shatters the window outward, and like the people are like, what the heck? Like looking up at the conference room that's now just blasted outward, with like horrible, like reeling nightmare energies. But you and Riva are caught in a moment of suspended time as the darkness parts around you. What do you say to her?
He holds the drone and it sounds like he's holding this drone with his voice, but at the same time whispering, quiet as anything. Riva's not sure whether she hears it directly from him or it's in her mind. It's definitely him, but whether it's his mouth or in her mind, she can't tell. Riva, bearer of the cloak. You failed that cloak, didn't you? It's on your shoulders, but it weighs heavy. You're not worthy to bear it, are you?
No.
I can help. I can help you be worthy of it.
How?
Work with me. Help me help you. Get me my materials, the foci for my rituals. I will unlock your potential, make you into something greater, larger than you could imagine. You want to be worthy of that cloak. That cloak will barely be worthy of you. You will stand on the shoulders of giants, a giant in your own right. Your arms and your influence will be long. The perihelion will come crumbling down, azimuth falling from the sky. And you will be your name, your might, your influence that people acclaim when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I guess it's the point where you make a roll.
Mm-hmm. This is the most twisted, fine, common ground I think I've ever had to roll.
I think it is, yep.
And it's only getting worse, because I was the one who chose to play an entire cult.
It's true.
Okay, so I get so what is our starting state here? I have a -1 to my sway currently.
I think
Because
you
of my haunted.
probably... No, you don't have disadvantage, because you would if you hadn't successfully done the diffuse and made this like bubble of space.
Mm-hmm.
You're protected from the strange energies right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a straight roll right now with
Okay.
your minus.
Okay.
But you could spend data to increase it to advantage.
I'm going to spend data to
Mhm.
increase and set that to advantage then.
Cool stuff.
I think he's going to whisper the name of someone very important to Riva. Unrequited love,
Alon.
a parent, Elon, he says. And he will suggest, without saying it explicitly, that Elon will be influenced, think highly of, however that is for her.
Yeah. Basically, you can redeem Alon, is what you would say.
With me to unlock your potential, there's nothing beyond your reach. No one beyond your reach. Alon. Yes. Alon. Give in. Work with me. And you can redeem even Alon.
And she's just like shaking, like obviously her will is just crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see if it crumbles completely or if she has one last moment of strength.
And enlightened madness.
Of course. What does that mean? Let's see. You have your, what is it?
So that's going to be a 2d6 keep 1 plus 6.
You're getting rid of the one next to faith.
Yes.
All right, you have one left on faith, and then a whole batch of 6s between lore and wealth.
It's going to be a +6 -1, I think.
Mm-hmm.
+5. All right. Please work. Hey,
There
we
you
go.
go. Just barely a complete success.
Guess what I just dropped with that advantage, too?
What? Oh, a 1. Oh my gosh. That means he makes another row of enlightened madness.
This has been Slipperin.
That's terrifying.
Welcome to the age of the new harmony.
We have been on the same page. Like, I know exactly where you're going with these. Oh, it's so good. Oh, perfect. All the devil 6s. Okay, cool.
This faction so much.
Yeah, it's terrifying. On a 10 plus, they pick one, so she can choose one condition. You give them something now that's worth it.
Something now that's worth it. Okay. I want to unlock the cloak.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. That's what she says, right? She says, "Show me. Do it."
But of course. This is probably going to be unleash power, yes?
Yeah. Absolutely. You could roll Unearth Forgotten Lore about it first. That's probably what you should do.
Yeah, that's probably valuable.
Yeah.
Because its effect is to get me data, but free data is free data.
Yeah.
Data is data, I guess.
And you get to ask some questions about it to know a little bit more about it, which could help you get advantage or something, if it made sense.
So I'm just going to roll a straight Unearth Forgotten Lore.
Yep. There you
12.
go.
With nothing else. All right, I'll take it.
So you get a point of data, and you get to ask 3 of those 4 questions in Unearthed
All right.
Forgotten Lore.
Where is it drawing its power from?
It is drawing its power from... Did we decide this before, Carly?
I think maybe I asked that question before, but I don't remember what the answer was.
Oh, it's drawing its power from itself. There are magical weavings in this cloak. It's basically the same sort of magic, like techno magic that the Recollection uses. Their reanimation sleeves, their silk, psionically stitched silks. Basically, it's like a weaving pattern that is built into this cloak that basically activates magic in it.
Okay.
And it has been imbued with some sort of magic externally at some point in the distant past, but the way that it draws that power out is through this weaving, these patterns in the cloak along the sides, kind of.
Okay. Is it a wonder or a horror?
To you, it is a horror.
Ooh.
Because this is a artifact of the Harmonia, not of the Discordia.
Okay. How can I turn it to my advantage?
Exactly. That is the question, right? Like, this is a very powerful artifact. How can you turn it to your advantage? So I don't think you can do it here.
Okay.
You have to take Riva and the cloak back to a den of the New Harmony, to the leaders of the New Harmony, and they need to work on breaking it down, corrupting it, changing it into the Discordia. It's going to be a long process.
Okay.
And it will require, basically, like, how can you turn it to your advantage? By bringing it to the rest of the leaders of the New Harmony.
Okay.
So giving her something right now that's worth it could just be like, I can unlock the cloak for you. All you have to do is come with me.
Yeah, basically that's exactly what he's going to offer.
Perfect.
Come with me, and we'll unlock this cloak together. And then he flings out a hand, a new distinct overtone enters his drone, and through one of the walls comes bursting a creature, a wyvern made of shadow.
Yeah.
Pouring off of it. And he reaches up with one hand, grabs the saddle horn, and vaults atop it. Offers her a ride. Back to the den of the New Harmonies.
Yeah, and she
leaders.
Is just openly weeping as she just like grabs your hand.
The creature bursts back through the walls, its wings flaring up into the night, and with a big plume of shadow, it takes off.
Yeah, and then we see like the workers, the like industrial workers that are in this like warehouse or whatever. A couple of them like run up because after this whole like blasted thing happened, one of them runs up to like the blasted up door frame and just looks inside and just sees basically just this kind of like slowly swirling kind of like ash of this place, and at the center of it is like Nausea's soul weird whatever device is there. Like it's indistinct, but there's something at the center of this like weird vortex of like ash and dust that's just kind of like slightly swirling, and they're just like we're not going in there sort of thing, and they just like slowly back away.
So the how is that death move phrased again specifically?
It is phrased: when you die, terrible energies plague the area. Those that brave the maelstrom can find a device on your body. So if you wanted to brave the maelstrom before you headed out, you could grab the device and bring it back to your family.
So you know what they probably find is whatever artifact that Episkiadzos uses to invoke hostile grounds has probably been amplified or twisted in some fashion.
Yeah, whatever foci or whatever it is.
So
yeah.
it's a chain of
Right.
Penrose triangles,
Right.
tangled in a knot.
Yeah. And I think the way it's twisted is it basically like looks like it's made of ash. So like as if it's moved at all, it's like ash is starting to fall off of it, but it still retains its substance somehow.
Yes.
But yeah, so you just leave it there then?
I think so. He's not particularly interested in retrieving it. And I think he could make for a much more interesting job for someone else to go after.
Yeah, honestly, this might be like Hellbreakers. They might try to grab this thing. Awesome. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out, shall we? Each player whose main character wasn't involved, so Harahel, pick one. In story moves, zooming out.
Okay, you'll need to excuse me for just a moment, please. I'll be right back.
I mean, I feel like they found a new place in their family makes the most sense.
Ooh, you want to change your role?
I don't know, because like narratively that makes sense, but I don't know if mechanically changing his role actually makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes perfect sense, honestly. I don't think Harahel meant to take a leadership role, but I think he does anyway.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because I think what happens there is, it's not like the council is like dissolves and you're the dictator or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have like garnered the like passion of a generation of forgotten heralds who wanted someone to just say this. And has been beaten down by the council, who just has gone inward, more and more inward. And now, like, especially all of the heralds that are, like, out and about doing missions and things, those are the people who hear word of this and are like, oh, yeah, Harahel's our man. Like, this is great. Like, we can do something about this now. And so you're going to mark leader. Mark when you must take charge to save your family from the edge of extinction.
Oh, nice.
Say what in you saves them, compassion or callousness. What is it that has motivated you to do this?
Compassion, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
So basically, this means for Harahel, his role in the Forgotten Heralds has changed somewhat. He has now become the de facto kind of point man on a new kind of wave of Forgotten Herald activity. So what you get to do is you get to add one to a stat or get a new move.
Ooh.
So keep in mind you can get one of your family's inheritance moves, which is the ones that I read off earlier for the quick characters. That's one of the options for getting a move. Harahel marked a roll move. I was talking to Josh.
Oh.
He's a leader now. We're seeing a lot of agents in this game realize that they have to take on leadership for their own.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm curious about Riva.
Where are the inheritance moves?
They're in the family part. I'll drag you to it. You can look at it. They are right here. I am gonna look up.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah, aren't those cool? I'm gonna look up the traitor move, or the traitor roll. I'm curious if Riva just marked that. Depend on the wording of it exactly, but. Traitor.
I kind of really want to see Horror Hell with the gardener.
Uh-huh.
So cool.
Did you find Trader, Caleb?
I did.
Okay.
The way it's worded in there is, mark when you sacrifice the oppressed to raise your power across the homeland. Name the leaders who come to listen to your principles. The GM will tell us about those who have seen through your actions and vowed bloody vengeance upon you. I feel like she might about to be that. Like, I think that's might be next for her, depending on how this, like, unlocking the cloak thing goes, right? It might be like, yes, I need to sacrifice the oppressed to gain more power. Like, that might be the next step for her, but I don't think she's taken it yet.
Get more oppressed people to enroll in the New Harmony's ranks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having recruits as a surplus, thank you.
Yeah. Are you gonna take gardener then?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. The gardener.
It's like almost not fitting of Horror Hell, but that's kind of just why I want to take it.
Yeah, you want to change him a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm down with that. It's a new kind of thing that has happened to him. I'm interested in exploring how this came about. I mean, what's so perfect about this, actually, Carly, is that your character has custom parts, so harm for him is really bad. Like, it's harder to get harm for you, but you repair it much harder. You need professional care to heal any kind of harm. Unfortunately, your family doesn't have any surpluses that make sense to like actually heal you. So right now you're still dinged and bent.
Yeah.
So to use this, like, so there's two things at play here. One, it's going to cost you to use this because harm does not heal well for you.
Yeah.
Two, though, you could use this move to heal the whole world. When you shed blood, even the harshest ruin will become verdant and full of life. That's you could literally save the world with this. You just have to do it enough, right? You just have to spend the rest of your life self-harming so you can make gardens.
Why?
What? Can you go back to the map, please?
Mm-hmm.
If we're complete on our house page.
Yep.
I'm not going to say Paradise Lost, but I'm going to say Paradise Lost.
I mean, you could go to Paradise Lost and make it Paradise Found. Yeah, that's super cool. Are there any like last step family moves that need to be done here as we wrap things up?
I'm content where we're at, I think.
Yeah.
It'll add some new and interesting stuff to do at the beginning of next session for the New Harmony and Riva. But I think I'm content here.
Agreed. That was a good session. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Role-playing games, how I love thee. Alrighty. Well, this has been the Hellbreaker Sequence. Thanks for playing, guys. That was really fun. We're out.
Blast.
Adios.